So before I introduce our guest speaker tonight, let me quickly introduce myself. Good evening, everyone. This is Kishore from Houston, Texas. I'm an IT consultant and also an entrepreneur in financial services. So one of my passions is to share the information, bring the experts, connect the community. So as part of this passion hobby, I organized over 200 plus webinars and seminars in last 2 years related to all different fields, including many sessions in immigration area from Rahul, Emily, and a lot of other experts. Um, and then, especially in this COVID situation, I thought like this is a time where we can use this time effectively, learn about various things like it can be immigration, it can be taxation, it can be related to college, kids education. There are a lot of topics where especially our Indian community is missing a lot of valuable information because most of us are first generation in this country. We don't know about most of those things. So I thought this is the best time where we can get all that information. So I scheduled over 50 plus webinars in last 3 to 4 months, and most of the recordings are on my YouTube channel. You can go to YouTube, search on my name, Kishore Ramaraju, and majority of those recordings, you will be able to see them. And today's session also we are recording. So just I want to make sure you all are comfortable with that. And so today's webinar, I would like to introduce Mr. Rahul Reddy. Most of you already know because within last 3-4 months itself, Rahul and team helped us with various webinars. Nearly 4 to 5 webinars we had where there were travel restrictions, where there were different changes in the immigration area, and we all know about the latest EB-2, EB-3 dates, and then I requested Rahul to have a session. More than 50 to 60 members called me starting from Thursday, Friday. So Rahul was available on Saturday, Sunday, but I had other commitments. So I requested Rahul for today, and he immediately accepted it. And Rahul is a founding partner of Reddy and Newman PC. He founded the firm in 1997 and got over 23 plus years of experience in the immigration area. And many of you in our groups know that how many times Rahul and team supported us whenever there is a new update, new change in the immigration area. Immediately, even though they have the separate calls for our group members, they separately scheduled calls to and answered hundreds of questions by all our members. And also they got we have a daily free conference calls and also weekly Facebook live calls. So feel free to attend those calls. I'll share the group link also where you can join the group, where you can also participate, where you can get the information of daily calls also. And also if you want to make an appointment, because this session is limited to 1 hour, but if you have more questions, more any specific situations which you cannot ask in a public forum, you can always set up an appointment. You can go to appointments.rnlawgroup.com and you can schedule an appointment. So yeah, it's all yours, Rahul. I know it is Zoom.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kishore, for the great introduction. Couple of things he forgot about me, Kishore, that I want to introduce myself, which he forgot it. Maybe he didn't think that that is important, but I feel those qualifications of mine are very important, especially for your understanding. Before I became an immigration lawyer, I was a client of an immigration lawyer. I have gone through the adjustment of status, like the way you guys are going through. I have gone through. It was way simpler process at the time, but I have gone through that process. So I understand. Back when I got my green card, it was in 1996. I got my green card in 1996 May. In June, the priority dates backlogged. And then the opening came out in 2001. And then after 2001, it closed and the opening came out in 2007. And after 2007, the opening came out in 2012. And after 2012, the opening came out in 2020. So it's very rare these kind of things opening comes in. And the second aspect with Kishore, I may want to, we are not giving any appointments until December of 2020. So any questions you have, please ask, but don't expect that you can be our clients at this point of time, because the money, the clients we already took, we are supposed to give importance to them, not the paying clients. Somebody walks in with a cash, no, we cannot. So right now, no appointments available for us. We will be available for any of the, that's the reason we are doing more of this work, so people be aware of it. Like I was explaining that I went through the adjustment of status. I'm not born here. I was dependent on it. So I just got the green card on May 16th, if I recollect. By the time the priority date came out, if something RFE comes in, I would have stuck in the green card for the next 4 years. So you got this opportunity, so you should take it. There are some misconceptions, general misconceptions people have. Somehow people think that EB2 is better than EB3 though. It was true for the last millennium and early part of this millennium though. Early, you know, the first decade of this millennium. After that, pretty much, I mean, EB3 has been, especially for past 3 years, EB3 has been very progressive than EB2. Now, if you leave the Indian nationals out though, if you go back to the Chinese nationals, EB3 is mostly better than EB2 most of the time. So for Chinese nationals, the switching of the EB2 to EB3 has been very frequent. We have done a lot of switching of downgrading from EB2 to EB3. In fact, a year ago, Emily and I presented how to downgrade, why to downgrade, and what are the circumstances to downgrade. We presented that. 1 month ago, me and Ryan from our business partner, we released a video. And if you guys did not watch the video, I want you to go to go to YouTube, search Reddy and Newman PC. You'll go to that I-140 downgrading EB2 to EB3. How to do it, what to do it, all those details are there. I want you to read that. Questions right now mostly is that, should I downgrade it? If I downgrade it, what will happen to your EB2 approval? Your EB2 approval will still be active. Can I file adjustment of status in EB2 if the EB2 becomes current, if I file an adjustment of status? Yes, you can, but if you use the EAD of what you're filing an adjustment of status, you would not be able to use it's not that easy to file an adjustment of status once you use the EAD. It's like this, you know, there's a girl there and you're having a line on her. That's different than marrying her. Once you use the EAD, technically you're marrying into the EB3. It's not easy to get out of it and go pick another wife. Like, yeah, you're putting a line on one girl and then now you decide, no, maybe not, I'll go put the line on another girl. I mean, in teenage, you know, maybe you've done it. So those kind of things, you can do it if you don't use the EAD. But once you use the EAD, you're married to this one. That's one thing I want to tell you that. As I was describing, the opening comes up once in a while. It came in, it closed up in 96 and it opened up a little bit in 2000, 2001, opened up in 2007, opened up in 2012. Sometimes it takes 8-9 years to get it. So I want you to guys try to file it as much as possible. Don't ask me much questions on whether you should downgrade and file it. My judgment call may go wrong. EB2 may become much faster. I'm not telling that it will not. Believe me, I've gone wrong in predicting the priority dates so many times. I don't think so there is anybody else in this earth that has gone so many times wrong in predicting the priority date. I claim that seat, that I am the person in the world who predicted visa bulletin so wrongly so many times. So take it with a pinch of salt when I am predicting the priority dates though. But I've told you history, 96, 2001, 2007, 2012. So please understand those things. You got the opening in 2020. If I were you, I would like to put my foot in there, because if you don't put the foot in the boat, this boat may or may not come for the next 10 years. If you want to judge a better guy, better person to predict the priority dates, go to the parrot guy, ask him, put all the priority dates and tell him which one is going to come. The parrot will predict much better. But I'm just telling you the history, what happened so that you get a picture to it. Any questions that you want to ask Kishore, or should we go to the Q&As?
Sure, Rahul. Before going to Q&As, can you give what's happening, and is there any other generic info you want to share with the group before going to the Q&A?
The normal questions that pop up is medical things. Medical things are not required, but some of the lawyers are, it's not absolutely required. You can file the adjustment of status without medical. Birth certificate, now common questions that come is a birth certificate is, I don't have a birth certificate. Well, if you don't have a birth certificate, please go to RN Law Group, type in birth affidavit. There are a lot of things that are listed in there. Don't give all of those things at one point of time. Just get 2 affidavits from 2 individuals, either from India or here. The affidavits have to be notarized. They are here. It doesn't have to be given by a person who's 18 years old at the time you're born. It could be somebody who knows you're born, your cousin, your friend. Your friend knows you're born. Of course you are. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in this conference call. And you wouldn't be having your priority date current. You're not a ghost. So they can give an affidavit as long as they're 18 years old, mentally sane. That's all the requirement is. If the birth certificate doesn't have my mom's name properly, dad's name properly, that's okay. But if your name is not proper, don't submit the birth certificate right now. You can deal this issue later on. You can make an appointment with me after you file this application. We'll open up and you can discuss those options. I'm a lawyer in India too, don't forget that. But at this point of time, if your name is wrong, or if your date of birth in your birth certificate is wrong, don't submit it right now, because then we'll stuck with that. So those are the common things that we face. Any other things that comes up for you, Kishore?
Yeah, there are a lot of questions, Rahul. So all the participants, please feel free to enter your questions in the chat window. I'll go one by one. I'll ask on your behalf. So first question, Rahul, is it true that if we use EAD and AP in EB3, we can't use EB2 interfiling in future if EB2 dates becomes current before EB3? And we have to wait until EB3 dates become current.
As I said, the marriage thing, once you use the EAD though, you definitely have crossed the line. There are issues with it. Remember, I told you girl line and marriage. So once you use EAD, you're married.
Okay. If employer is not filing I-485 for some reason,
you can't file it. You cannot file it. You cannot file it. Employer has to be signing the document. Otherwise, you file it, it will be considered as fake and criminal charges will be charged.
My son is 17 years now. Now I am planning to downgrade from EB2 to EB3 and file 485 for my son as well.
Of course.
He will be on EAD. What happens when he becomes 21 years old? Can he still continue college with EAD?
I don't want this 17-year-old kid to ever use the EAD though. There are a couple of problems in it though. Kishore, the priority date is actually not current as what all people are thinking. There is something called final action date. There is something called filing dates. Right now, there is a 5-year difference between the final action dates and filing date. The rule says that the age of the determination is at the time when the final action date becomes current. And in that, you have to deduct the time, how much time the I-140 is spending. Mostly, let's say I-140 is spending for 2 months or premium processing. So we have a problem with him aging out. So if he ages out and the priority date never becomes, final action dates never becomes current though, he'll be kicked out. And once he uses the EAD, now remember the line and the marriage, he got married into this one. And when he becomes about 21, he can't move to a different status like F1. What I would recommend at this point of time is go ahead and file the adjustment of status, consult a lawyer later on, to determine what to do. Nothing hurry. I mean, until EAD is not coming in the next 8 to 10 months. You can consult the lawyer somewhere in January to see, strategize a plan for the 17-year-old kid.
Okay. I have an approved I-140 with company A with a priority date in 2012 under EB-3. Company B acquired company A and filed for I-140 amendment under regular process. We received a receipt but not yet approved. Can we file AOS with I-140 amendment receipt?
Absolutely, you can.
Okay. Can we change it to preliminary processing?
Premium processing. You
Premium
can.
processing, yeah.
Well, I take back a little bit though. Anybody who is, in this case, what I would recommend is file the adjustment of status right now. Once the adjustment of status has been received, try to convert it into premium processing. For all the people who are downgrading, my recommendation is don't file in premium processing, guys. The reason is that when they don't see the original labor certification approval in the premium processing, they will turn the entire adjustment of status and I-140 application back. We get it somewhere in November, your priority date moved back. We explain to that officer, you did a mistake, we're lost. That's the reason I strongly recommend everybody file in the regular processing. And once you have the receipt notice of I-140 and adjustment of status, then convert it to premium processing.
Okay. I am in EB-2 October 2010 priority date. Is it better to switch to EB-3?
As Kishore, I will go back one more time. There is nobody else in the world that has gone so many times in predicting the priority date other than me. Somebody has to prove that they are better than me in predicting it wrong, okay? Please take that. If I were you, I would not downgrade myself to EB-3 and file it because your priority date is current right now. If the priority date is not current, if I were them, I will downgrade and file the adjustment of status. But if the priority date is current, I'm not going to downgrade it. That's me. Okay.
Yeah. Employer A started green card process. I-140 approved with priority date as April 22nd, 2011. Change it to employee B due to layoff with employer A. Employer B has not yet started the GC process.
Out of luck.
So can employee A apply for it, or only should employee B apply for the GC process?
Employee B cannot apply for adjustment of status. Employer B cannot.
Okay. Can I self-file with help of Reddy and Newman PC?
First, Reddy and Newman PC is not taking clients. Number two, no, you can't self-file it. You have to go through the employer only.
Okay.
You have to go to the previous employer if that guy is willing to. You want to take some live calls?
Yes, yeah, let me go through some more questions, and yeah, there are more than 200 plus questions. I have I-140 EB-2 approved from my previous employer, which he did not revoke. My current employer got I-140 approved on EB-2 and retained the same priority date. Can my previous employer do concurrent filing of I-140 amendment to EB-3 along with AOS, EAD, and AP?
Yes, they can.
After downgrading from EB-2 to EB-3, can we still use EB-2's I-140 to file I-485 application if EB-2 date becomes current in near future?
As long as you don't get married to EB-3, and I told you what do you mean by married, is using the EAD at advanced parole, that means that you are married. As long as they are not married to EB-3, they can.
Okay. My company attorney mentioned that the downgrade will be perceived or will be like an I-140 amendment, and we would have to apply another I-140 to move back to EB-2 if needed.
Not. I don't agree with that lawyer. It will be both separately. EB-2 and EB-3, both you can keep it. It's not either of those things. Why are they filing amendment? It's a new application. They shouldn't file an amendment. Amendment should be filed For example, when one company is acquired by another company, the tax ID number changes, then you file an amendment. Not when you are doing EB-2 to EB-3. It's not an amendment. You keep both the things together. But in cases where EB-2 was been approved by company A, and now EB-3 has been, you file as an amendment where the company changes though, okay? Then you have to file a EB-2 again. But if the company has not changed, same company is there, you can keep both the things, you can use it. We have done several times for Chinese nationals. Go back and look into the history of the visa bulletin, guys, you will see it. Particularly from past 4 or 5 years, you can see the history. For Indian nationals, only from past, like, we have done some downgrades for Indian nationals, not that much, but we did in the past 2 years.
Yeah, Vijay Pinjala, I unmuted you. You can ask your question now.
Yeah, thanks, Kishore. Hi, Rahul. I have my I-140 with previous employer, and when I joined to the new employer, he revoked. And now my current employer POM already certified. Now I'm ready for filing the I-140. So now,
nice.
Can I go directly to the EB3 with premium processing and
absolutely filing? Absolutely, you're in best shape. One question, Vijay.
Yeah.
When was your previous I-140 approved?
August 2014.
When did you left the company?
In 2017.
Okay, that's 2017. When? After January?
November.
Okay, you're good. Absolutely good. I-140 must have been approved. It must not have been withdrawn within 180 days and must not have been withdrawn before January 17th of 2017. So you meet all the conditions though. In your case though, you can file a EB-3 and directly file the adjustment of status. Remember what I was telling the other person question, that you can keep both EB-2 and EB-3. In your case though, it's going to be only EB-3 because you never filed EB-2.
With the new employer. Yeah,
with the new employer.
But previous employer I-140 is there.
That's gone. Previous employer I-140. You can file one more I-140 if you want to with the same company. But right now, file an EB-3. Right now, if I were you, file an EB-3, file an adjustment of status. Okay, that'll be you'll be in a good shape.
Yeah, in my case, like I can go directly for premium processing, right, Rahul? It is not that amendment and all.
That's right. You're right. The other people I said you can't do the premium processing. In your case, though, I'm fine with premium processing with you.
Thanks, Rahul.
Mr. Praveen, you are unmuted.
Hi, Rahul. My name is Praveen. My employee A has filed I-140 in 2017. I have the priority date in EB-2 in 2017. My new employee B, is now starting the POM process. Should I ask them to downgrade, or should I have to wait and make a decision at I-140 stage?
I would do one thing though. Make sure that the labor is documented for EB-2. Okay.
Okay.
What happens is that if you document for EB-3, okay, you can't use the same labor for EB-2.
Okay.
But if you document it for EB-2, okay, it's not that tough to get an EB-3 approval with the same thing.
Okay. So
you can, and let me finish it. You can do one thing. Since you are not in this adjustment of status, once you get the labor approval, you can file EB-2 and EB-3 at the same time.
Okay, if employer supports.
Same, yeah, of course. Everything is employer support, guys. Don't even ask that question. Everything is employer support. Now you can file EB-2 and EB-3 with the same labor certification.
Okay, great. Yeah, my employer suggested the same thing. They said they want to reevaluate at the situation where I-140 stages, and now they want to do it in EB-2, and they want to evaluate the situation. Okay, great.
Good company. Recommend that company. Recommend that lawyer to other people.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rahul. Thank you, Kishore.
Yeah, no problem. Next, Mr. Ramu.
Hey, Rahul, I'm not sure like if I'm asking the same question. So you said like we can't predict the dates. So my question is like regarding the final action date, just like I'm curious like to understand for example, if I'm filing downgrading from EB2 to EB3 this month and filing for I-485, and if someone next month, for example, like if EB2 moves forward and they file the I-485, is that like the final action date will be given to the person who files I-485 first, or they will calculate on a different criteria?
Wait, you're confusing right now. The question is not clear. So you file under EB3 and somebody files under EB2. Now, what's the question now?
So if I'm in EB2 now, so I'm planning to downgrade to EB3.
I got the point. You file adjustment of status.
Yeah.
Next month, somebody files in EB2. So what's your question?
So will the final action date will be given based on EB2 or EB3, or based on the
that you are different, that person is different, is it right?
Right, yeah.
So there's no connection between you and him. So I'm not understanding the logic. The question is that, let's say, for example, both of you guys have the same priority date, and now you file it right now. Next month, that guy files in EB2. It will depend on which one will move faster. Will EB2 move faster? Will EB3 move faster? Okay, it depends on. Yeah, and I told you that how the best way to predict which one moves forward is don't ask this lawyer who is so dumb in predicting the priority dates. The best way is go to the parrot guy. He will guess much better than I do.
Yeah. So, and the other thing is, I can get the EAD card, and if I don't use it, it means
you're
I'm
not married. You're not married. That's right. That you use a perfect word. Yes. If you don't use it, you just have it. You don't use it. You're not married.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Next question, Mr. Ashutosh.
Yeah. Hi, Rahul. I have a question. My previous employer filed the I-140 for me, and it got approved with the priority date of EB2 somewhere in the end of 2015. But my new employer hasn't filed the green card for me. I mean, they have just started the process of perm, but it's going to take some time. Can my previous employer can file for the downgrade from EB to EB3 in premium along with the 485?
He can. I would recommend not premium, regular processing, and convert it in November. What's the big deal? Okay. I might just trust me, guys. Just file in normal processing and convert into premium in November. That'll be much better.
Okay. So I have to be on their payrolls to get the 485 approved?
That is, technically speaking about, it's not required, but your company may put the restriction. That's one thing. The second thing is that immigration may doubt the entire thing when you don't join the company.
Okay. Okay, but one can join after getting the I-485 approved also, right? But is it mandatory to?
You're right. You're right. You're right about it.
Okay, so technically it's not mandatory to be on the payrolls of the previous employer if they want to file the.
You're right, but there are some practical issues, but technically it's not required.
Okay. Okay, and you said it's better to start with the normal processing and then down the line in November somewhere, you can file for the premium, right?
Absolutely. That's the best thing that I would advise you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Rahul.
Mr. Ramu. Ramu, you can ask your question now.
I don't see him unmuted, Kishore.
Okay, maybe we'll go to the next one. Mr. Venkat Reddy.
Hello.
Yeah, Venkat, go ahead.
Hi. Now, once we file this downgrade from EB2 to EB3, are there any restrictions from traveling outside?
Yes.
Outside?
Yes. Because the advance parole, if you leave the country, the advance parole is considered to be abundant. Okay. That's the reason we don't recommend it traveling until the advance parole is approved.
Okay. And from what you're observing, how much time is it taking right now?
I would say it's taking 10 months, but give it 2-3 months with COVID and Trump in addition to it.
Okay. Now, if we make the application premium, like you said, after we get the receipt number, would that
Would that what?
Would that reduce the duration?
No. I-140 has nothing to do. We are only speaking about premium processing of the I-140, not adjustment of status. There is no premium processing for adjustment of status.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Ravi K, you are unmuted.
Yeah. Hi, Rahul.
Yes,
I am on EB2 and the priority date is May 2014. So could you please advise, can I downgrade to EB3 and go ahead file 485?
You can. You're asking me, should you or can you?
What is the best path?
The best path, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what I would do if I were you. Remember, this guy went so many times wrong in predicting the priority dates because I don't know how the things move. It's just very confusing. I wanted to explain you guys why is it so, why can't we predict the priority dates? I bought like 10,000 marbles with different color. I made a lot of videos, but it didn't make a sense to present it so that you guys can understand it. So it's very hard and I can't tell, I can't predict it. Now I can only tell one thing here. If I were you, remember that the qualification which Kishore did not mention is what is most important for me as an immigration lawyer. If I were you, I would go downgrade and file the additional status.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Kishore.
Next question, Mr. Avanendra Singh. Yeah.
Hi. So I have one question. So I got that I-140 approved in EB-3 from my previous employer, and I left the company. And now again, my I-140 is approved with the EB-2 category. Okay. Now, if I downgrade to EB-3, first of all, my fear is like while downgrading and while the application processing is going on, maybe the dates will again switch back and it may go back to 2005 or something else. Do you think I'll be stuck in EB-3 and then I can never go back to EB-2, or what is the risk?
The question.
I'm more interested for the risk part of it.
If you, you remember the marriage parties, right? Did you understand
that marriage part, we were not very clear. When you said marriage part, we were not very clear. What do you mean by marriage?
When you are filing the EB-3, you have a girlfriend boyfriend relationship or whatever it might be. You're watching a girl or whatever it is. That's different than marrying a girl, is it right?
Yes.
Flirting with her is different than marrying. You agree or not?
Correct.
Okay, we agree. So if you flirt, you can change the girl easily, right? Yeah. You can flirt with another girl. But if you get married, it's not that easy to get married to another girl, is right?
Yeah.
So when you file an adjustment of status under EB-3, you are just flirting with a girl right now.
Okay.
You're not married.
Okay.
Once you use the EAD, that you get it from this adjustment of status, now you're married.
So EAD, once I get the EAD, my problem is solved. Why I'm stuck, right? Then it is equal, correct?
Not
as exactly, equal to the...
Not exactly true. The reason is that people may get stuck in the EAD for decades.
Oh, okay.
Because if the priority date for EB-2 moves fast and your EB-3 doesn't move, you will be in EAD for a long period of time.
Okay.
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 You got it?
I got it.
So that's a reason. Having told though, I would downgrade, as I've been telling everybody, I will downgrade and file it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Why the people are concerned is that what if the EB-2 moves forward? You're right. I mean, but the end of the road for you is not EADs, right? End of the road is green card.
Correct.
Citizenship, everybody gets it. That's different. We're not going to discuss it. But getting a green card is it. So if you don't use it, You can switch to EB2 easily. If you use it, the EAD, then you're married to this girl called EB3.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Other than that, you don't see any risk by downgrading to EB3. That's all.
No, absolutely. That's a lot of people, ask this question. Yeah, I mean, if somebody wants to move back to EB2, yes. What is the risk involved in it? Well, the money you pay to the lawyer and the filing fees, oops, that's gone.
Yeah, my wife is also here. She wanted to ask something. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Rahul, I have a question. So, suppose we get the EID, right? When you say you should not use it, means we should not show to our employer that we have got the
There
EID.
you go. There you go. That's it. You keep it in the pocket. Don't show it to anybody. You're fine. You're not married.
Okay. Then if we don't show them, then what will happen to our status? Means every time we have to show that we are on H1 and keep on doing the extension?
That's one way if you want to switch to EB2 again. Okay. But if you want to, like your husband was telling, no, I don't want to switch to it. My wife is good. I'm sorry. My girlfriend is good. I don't want to switch, which is EB3. Then you can give up. I mean, you can show the EAD and forget about H1B.
Okay. So so does it mean that my employer must support this downgrading, or I myself can go ahead and
No. Your employer must support your downgrading.
My employer must support it. Okay. And all
Everything your
employer. All the finance and all, it has to be taken care by him.
No, not exactly though. Good part is that in this process of downgrading and also adjustment of status, the money can be paid by the individual or the company. There is nothing like it is a compulsory that only employer has to pay. Now, it's a compulsory, for H1B, filing fees and legal fees has to be paid by the company only. No exceptions.
And how much is the fees for downgrading?
We are not taking the cases, so I can't tell you the fees.
Okay.
Rahul, I have just quick 2 questions. So my first question is, please explain the difference between the final action date and filing date. I always get confused.
Right. The final action, in the final action dates means that is ripe for you to get the green card. Okay? It's ripe for you to get the green card. They won't give you the green card, the final green card. Okay, it looks pink a little bit. Okay, don't blame your lawyer for giving you pink card. So the final action dates is when they will actually give you the green card. Okay, you got that? Filing dates are, they will allow you to file the adjustment of status. They will allow you to file to get the EAD. They will allow you to get the advance parole, but they won't give you the green card.
Okay, so filing date is like I-485 and final action date will be when I will literally getting the green card, which will be 10
years. You put it perfectly.
Okay.
Filing date is 485, final action date is green card. That's an easy way of putting. Now, next time I'll use this. Okay. Now, having said that, the filing dates, who determines whether or not they're accepting the filing dates? It is the immigration service that determines whether they're going to accept the filing dates. Sometimes they don't accept the filing dates. Sometimes they do. Okay? Because you said it's 485 and green card is right? You got that clear. Mm-hmm. So how many times in the past 5 years, which is 16 months, how many times has the immigration gone with the filing dates? How many times has it gone with the final action date? Only 12 times out of the past 60 months, it has gone with the I-485 dates or the dates of filing. Rest of the time, they didn't allow us. Then you may ask a question, why are these people, dumb people, putting 2 dates when they are not allowing me to file the 485? There are 2 processes here. The green cards can be filed when you are in India, is that right? When you are in USA. You got it right?
Yeah.
So for the State Department to process it, they will process date of filing every time, all 60 months. Okay. When it comes to the USCIS, they will determine each month whether they're going to do or not. Then you may ask question, who in the hell is getting the green cards from out of the country? You'll be very surprised. They are 80% of them. You guys are less. The entire employment-based immigration is only 14% of the entire immigration. Okay, so you guys think that you are the big group. No, you are not the big group. They are the big group. You are a small group. So that's the reason why the State Department is using those dates and the USCIS is using the different date. What happened was that, remember, the State Department said no more green cards for the family preference categories outside the country, is that right? Outside the country. Those extra green cards that popped into this one, that's the reason the dates move very fast. Now it's a little bit confusing. Maybe we should go to the next question, but yeah. Got involved too much, but good questions.
Chetu?
Yeah. Hi, Rahul. My question is, my lawyer is saying if I downgrade to EB3, my EB2 will be gone. I have no plan to use EAD or advanced payroll after approval. So talk to my employer also. He confirmed he will not revoke my I-140 of EB2. So is my lawyer wrong, or will there be any section in EB3 downgrade document which refers to other approved I-140, anything like that?
In the I-140 application, they will ask you, are you filing an amendment? Or are you filing a new application? We always pick new application. So there's no reason, if the lawyer wants to pick the amendment, I don't know why he wants to, but we don't.
Okay, and is applying for EAD and advanced payroll, is it same as using it, or we are just applying for it?
You're just applying it. You're not getting married to it yet. You apply, you can keep it in the pocket. But if you use it, then you're married to it.
Good. And for I-944, is the appraisal of the house required? Of the property?
You can go to what is it, Zello.com and print it out. That's enough.
That's enough. Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Zillow.com, not Zello, sorry.
Zillow. Okay. Yeah.
Next question in the message, Rahul. If dependent wife and kid are in India and they can't come to US in October because of visa stamping issues or medical reasons,
they cannot file the adjustment of status for the people who are outside the country.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Vamshi, you are unmuted.
Hey, thanks Kishore and thanks Rahul. My question is, after filing 485, when is the 6-month window start to use AC21? Is it the day from the filing 485 or the day from starting using UAD?
No, it's the day you file the 485, not the day you start using the EAD.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mr. Darsh, you are unmuted.
Yeah,
before I go to Darsh though, I want to expand his a little bit though. It is definitely the filing date, but if you're downgrading from EB2 to EB3 though, I also want your I-140 to be approved though, before you make any steps of moving to a different company. Just want to add that. Sorry, go ahead, Darsh.
Yeah, thanks, Rahul. My question is like, if you mean marrying means like, it's not only a primary applicant, even if dependents use, it's the same as marrying.
Yeah, it's kind of, you can say that. It's because what happens is that if the dependent uses, are you going to be single, leaving your family? So the whole family will be married to them. I mean, it's practically, unless you want to segregate yourself from the family, you're all married to that EB3.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
iPhone. Mr. iPhone, yeah.
Hey, Rahul, my name is Mahesh. I have a question, like I'm asking my attorney to downgrade to EB3. They're saying there is a possibility you may get denied EB3 as well as EB2.
Is there a possibility that I can die? Can you say that? Is there a possibility? Is there a possibility that I can die in the next 5 minutes? Yes or no?
No.
How can you say that?
I'm just guessing.
Well, maybe some just I don't know, maybe the flight comes in and shoots and die. Is there a possibility? There's always a possibility. I'm not a mathematician, but let me tell you, it's physically possible. Flight can just drop down.
No.
Die.
See, like you might apply a lot of cases like this. Like, have you seen any?
I have not gone a single case denied when I did from EB-2 to EB-3. I've done at least 50 of them from EB-2, not a single case.
Okay.
Now, having said that, let me take back a little bit. When I upgraded though, the percentage of denial is different, higher. When I downgraded though, I haven't got a denial. It's like this. If a person is climbing 100 floors in 1 hour, okay? And I got the certification. I went to the immigration and got the certification saying, hey, this guy can go for 100 floors in 1 hour. The immigration approved and all those things. I'm going back to them, telling them, and this guy has the same physical fitness, everything is same. Nothing changed. His degree is the same. His experience is more than before, okay? So now he is actually can go to 125 floors in 1 hour.
Yeah.
Now I have to prove that this guy can do 50 floors in 1 hour.
Okay. Yeah, and the other question, like I have two EB2s. I have mine EB2 2012 priority date and my wife EB2 2013. Like, which will be the better to downgrade?
That's a tough question. I need to become better than a parrot. I'll try.
No, like let's go for the first one.
No, because I can't.
Okay, thank you, Rahul. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Mr. Raghu, you are unmuted.
Thank you, Rahul, my attorney is saying two things when I'm downgrading it.
We can't hear you properly. We can't hear you properly.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit better. Is there any way you can take it off on the speakerphone?
Ashok?
Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, Raghu.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Someone is talking, actually, I don't know.
That's okay. You go ahead, Raghu.
Okay. So there are two issues that attorney says, One is that the risk for the company is that they could accuse for fraud after having assessed to certain higher qualification, which discouraging the qualified candidate for applying and dequalify applicants based on higher requirement.
Here is the thing though, in the labor certification, we are saying that we require higher thing. Okay, we require 100 floors to go, is that right? Now that's what, let's compare with the 100 floors. When it comes to the I-140, all they want is that, is this guy, previously we said my employer and employee are qualified for 100 floors for 1 hour. It's been proved. Now we just have to say that my employer and employee are qualified for 50 floors. So it's nothing wrong with it. It's like this. There is a restaurant that only allows millionaires to go in, okay? Only millionaires are allowed to enter. Now there's a billionaire that comes in. I take to the restaurant owner, I tell that restaurant owner, hey, this guy is a millionaire, so please allow him. Am I telling wrong? Am I doing anything wrong? No, he's still a millionaire. Is that right? I mean, all billionaires are millionaire, correct me. So there is nothing wrong in it. That it's not that nothing wrong. We have done several times, no problem with it. A lot of bigger companies are doing too.
Okay, so this is exactly my attorney is saying. I not approached my employer yet, but this is when I reached out to my attorney telling like, what are my options to degrade?
Everybody has their own opinion, you know, like that's up to him. But we have done it. Everybody is doing it. Nothing wrong. And it's not that I'm telling you right now. Go back to the video 1 year ago between me and Emily. Go back to the video 1 month ago that we presented in Radio New and PC. It's not that after this date came in, we were predicting this before. Now, having said that, you know, I've gone wrong in predictions. Okay, don't just believe me. But we have done so many EB2 to EB3s. We never had any problem.
No, the question here is, she's telling it's risk to the company, first of all, because their recruitment process may go wrong. They may give fine to the company.
That's not my opinion.
Okay.
One thing I want to add though here in the downgrading though, where would the risks normally come from is when you leave the company, okay? And when you're trying to come back right now, and when they are downgrading though, okay? There are some financial issues that may pop up. It's called ability to pay. Normally your lawyer and your company owner, they normally work together on that one. There are some issues on the ability to pay. But as far as what you are telling, I do not agree with your lawyer.
Okay. The other thing she is telling me is if you have if you're taking an existing certified EB2 perm and use it for 140 with an EB3 designation, the USASMA say the requirement for EB3 are lower than the EB2. This means that we may have discouraged qualifying applicants.
You told me that before. I already answered it before.
Okay.
We'll go to the next question, Mr. Said.
Hi, Rahul. Good evening. I have couple of small questions. Number one, my I-140 was approved by my previous employer in October with priority date October 2012 on EB2. And that company shut down, and I joined another company in November 2013. That is my existing employer. In order to do the adjustment of status, do this existing company has to file I-140 again, or it's fine?
Yeah, you can't file adjustment of status with this existing company. You must have the company file a labor at least your labor should be approved before, and that cannot be approved in the next 6 months. It takes longer time to get labor approved.
Okay, so should I go for EB3 or like I have EB2 approval? So should I, if I ask my existing company, should I ask them to go with the EB3 downgrading?
You can do one thing. I was telling the other caller, once you have the labor documented for EB2, you can file both the applications at the same time. Go for EB2 and EB3 at the same time, because whichever goes, you can go forward if you want to.
Okay. And with the, do you think that in the November bulletin we expect more?
Remember, you're asking the question the wrong guy. A parrot is better than me, and I'm the worst person to predict the dates. I can go back to history and read it out, but let me tell you one thing: I've gone wrong, so don't expect me to predict the dates.
Okay. All right. So your suggestion will be to downgrade right now from EB2 to EB3 with my current employer.
Okay. No, you can't downgrade. You can't downgrade. You don't have a labor approval with your current company. You can't downgrade.
Oh, okay.
You're saying that you have company A that is not existing right now. Since it's not existing, you can't downgrade, period.
Okay. So first I have to go with the EB2. Okay.
Yeah, you can go. Yeah, you have to first file a labor certification and then decide which ones to go.
Yeah. Mr. Vamshi, you are unmuted.
Thank you, Kishore. In my case, I have.
Vamshi.
Sorry, Rahul.
We got cut off. Can you repeat again?
Sure. Rahul, I have a 2013 EB2 with employer 1, but I changed my job. So I have applied for a EB2 140 with my current employer. It is in process in EB2. They applied in July 27th is when I got the receipt from USCIS. So can I do like a premium processing now and get it approved in the next 14 days and apply for a 140 EB3 and 485 concurrently for a adjustment of status?
You don't have to. You don't have to wait for. You don't have to wait for it. You can still use the same labor certification. File the EB3 right now.
So, but earlier you were discussing that it's better to have a EB2 approval, right, with the employer, and then
it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to come before EB3 has been filed. It can come afterwards too. You can do that too. I mean, you can do that premium processing and approve it while you can do this same processing of getting the EB3 parallelly filed.
Oh, okay. My next question is, what will be my travel restriction? So my wife is on H4 EAD right now. What will be the travel restrictions if I file for adjustment of status?
Your wife is out. You said outside the country?
No, she's here in US.
Travel restrictions is if you're getting married to the if you want to get married to this application though, okay? Then you have a travel restriction of not traveling for the next 12 months.
I cannot travel the next 12 months.
If you do, then what happens is that you have to, do you have a H1B, H4 stamped in your passport?
Yes, I do. But it is only valid until December of this year.
Yeah, so practically if you go there, then you have to wait for the stamping. If you don't get the stamping, you're not coming back.
Okay. So when you say married to EB3, right, do I have a choice to tell my employer, okay, I want to use my EAD or my H1 going forward once a EAD is approved?
You can. I would recommend to hold on these questions until you file it and get the EAD. At that point of time, I want you to discuss with the lawyer what are the pluses and what are the minuses, and then choose at that point of time.
अभी तो ये बोल रहे simple.
Mr. Abhishek, you are unmuted.
Hi Kishore and hi Rahul. So my question is, I have an approved I-140 from my previous employer with a priority date of April 2012, and current employer they got my perm done, but while doing the I-140, the I-140 was rejected once, and then they were just in the process of applying it again when this date change happened. So now should I do the filing in?
What was the reason for rejection?
Well, the reason was, I got one RFE on, the experience letter was insufficient, and then we responded to that. And then I think the lawyer is saying that the US CIS mailroom lost the cover sheet. So they thought the form was incomplete, and that's why they rejected it, because the cover page was missing. But it was
okay, got the point. Okay, go ahead with the question.
So now they are ready to file it again. So it's going to be a fresh I-140 filing essentially. So should I do premium EB3 first and then 485, or should
no
together?
Do both the things. You can do both the things together. Don't do premium processing. Just file in the normal processing.
Okay, because like my company lawyer was suggesting that if you wait for 485 together, then you will take another 2-3 days to get all the documents. Better is just submit it tomorrow on
one problem I have with this is that sometimes it's taking a longer time to get the receipt notice. What if the receipt notice doesn't come until until November?
Oh, even for premium processing? Premium, they have to respond in 15 days.
Yeah. One other problem with premium processing is because you already filed a labor certification before, though you're filing again. Yeah. I still don't recommend going premium processing, but I'm not telling that he's wrong, though. I'm not telling I completely disregard his things. This is my style. That's his style. I don't think so. He's wrong.
Okay. And then one other question on the advance parole. So I understood the concept of married to that EAD. Is using the advance parole also considered using the EAD benefits? And now
you're absolutely right. It is by using an advance parole is same thing as getting married.
Okay, so essentially, if we don't want to use them, then every 3 years we have to continue renewing our H1s, and then also every year continue renewing your EAD. If we don't want to use it, but keep both, right?
I mean, it's up to you. If you don't want to use the EAD, you don't have to apply for it. But if you don't want to get married to this one, you have to keep extending the H1Bs. You're right.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mr. Kishore, you are unmuted.
Thank you, Kishore. Hi, Rahul. I have this question, I have my priority date January 2011, I-140 approved with my previous employer. That was my previous employer, actually. So I'm not with them right now. So last year I took another full-time opportunity where they did not start anything yet with this COVID going on. So if I want to file 485 with my employer, which they haven't revoked, I-140, it is still there. So can they file me without joining them back? Can they file?
Technically, they can.
Any challenges that we might face?
Well, as it's definitely is going to be a little bit more, they will look down a little bit why you have not joined. That's one thing. You're not going to join right now, or you're not going to join ever.
Let's say if I don't want to join ever.
That's
the reason I say. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The USCIS may have some doubts about the genuinity of the job offer and may question. So it's become more riskier if you don't join the company.
Okay. So the reason is the current position that I have is a full-time opportunity. I mean, this employer...
I got the point. I got the point though. I got the point.
Okay.
But you'll be risking your green card for that.
Okay. So you're advising they can file right now, file 485. So down the line, I have to join them.
That would be the best interest for you.
Okay. At what stage?
I do one thing, please, because it's going to be these are things I would say as soon as possible. But do one thing, file the adjustment of status, come back to us for consultation. We'll discuss why not, if not, why not. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
I just want to help people to file the adjustment of status right now.
Right. And one question I think you have already answered. The current employer cannot file perm I-140 and 485 together, right? They cannot do that, right?
No. Perm has to be approved before I-140 can be filed.
Okay. And one question regarding this EAD, which I am hearing a lot, this EAD renewals, right? Do we need to pay every year for EAD renewal $1,500 per application?
Yes.
Is that the new thing or?
It's a new thing.
Okay. So with this, new dates moving, that the new law that USCIS is bringing, right?
You are right. Maybe that's a reason why they moved these dates, because they want to collect the money from you guys. I don't know.
Exactly. But, so again, to your point, like that marriage thing, right? So if I don't want to marry, I have to
do one. Let's do one thing. File the adjustment of status, consult a lawyer after you in November or December, and then you can make a judgment calls afterwards. Okay. I want to give people as soon as possible to file it. I don't want to go into all the intricacies of everybody's family right now.
Okay.
Rahul, I know we are already over 1 hour. So do we have another 10 minutes or?
Okay, let's go 10 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. Mr. Raghunath Reddy.
Yeah, thanks, Kishore. Hi, Rahul. This is Raghu. I have I-140 approved from a company A, and I joined a company B right now, and my perm is in progress from past 4 months. And I contacted my lawyer, and he said in next 1 to 2 months, it's going to be approved. So in the meanwhile, my dates was like 2014. And what is my process like? What is the best approach like to downgrade to EB3? And what will be the filing status? Can you please suggest? Thank you.
Is your old employer willing to downgrade and file the adjustment of status for you?
I didn't contact my old employer, but the new employer already filed a new form with the EB2.
With new employer, you don't have much choices there. Your labor is not approved. You're a beggar. You can't choose. I want chicken biryani, mutton biryani. No. Okay. Sorry for using bad word, but that's how you are right now. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Kishore, are you there?
Yeah, Mr. Vasudev, you're unmuted.
Hey, thanks. So I basically have EB2 date, which is current, which is January 2011. I actually planned to move to a full-time position last month. And during the background check, I got to know that my GPA was 2.9, which officially doesn't really qualify for a master's degree. This actually is a surprise to me as well. So right now, can I still file for a EB2 because I have a master's degree with my degree certificate, or is it better for me to downgrade to EB3?
I'm not that familiar with the GPA thing though.
At least from this background check from my new employer, they mentioned that 3 is supposed to be a qualified GPA, but again, I have a degree certificate. I had a grad work done in 2011. So
you're raising a question that I don't have expertise at this point of time, though.
Okay, so okay, let me try to rephrase this for you, right? So if I have a master's degree certificate with me, is that considered that I'm qualified, or is it like it's going to be another background check for that?
Normally, they don't do background checks for it. But the only thing is that if you're saying if it's a genuine certificate, though, of course, that normally shouldn't, yeah. If it's not genuine, we are not discussing. But if there is an underlying problem in the degree, for example, it's not from an accredited university, then it definitely poses a problem there.
Next question, Mr. Shuja Khan, you are unmuted.
Hi, this is Shuja. So my quick question is, my I-140 was approved in EB2 with September 2013 as priority date with my previous employer. Current employer also, I have the EB2 the I-140 approved with the same 2013 date. They filed my new perm recently, and I got approved for that due to some role change and all that. So should I go ahead and file an EB3 with the new perm, or can I do both as well?
No, I would not do both though. I mean, you can just, instead of downgrading, you use the existing labor certification and file under EB3.
Okay. And later on, can I file in EB2 if the dates of EB2 goes ahead?
You already have another EB2 approved, is that right?
Yeah, but my title and the roles have changed.
Yeah, that's fine. You can still file with the existing labor certification. You can file another EB2. Yes, you can.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Jayasri Tumalapalli, you're unmuted.
Hi, sir. My question is, I am on EB3 and my priority date is March 2014. My husband is on EB2 and his priority date is October 2013, and he is on EB2. So I am current right now. So what is your suggestion?
You're current without going downgrading, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
And you're working for the same company?
Yes, for the past 10 years.
Absolutely. I mean, that's so easy. Don't do anything. File adjustment of status for you and your husband.
But the thing is, so the end goal here is green card, right? As you said, I am afraid with all these downgrades, EB2 to EB3, the EB3 line is going to be so long. And is it possible for me to avail the EAD while my husband still can maintain H1? But he will be added as a dependent. So we are going to add him as a dependent and file for adjustment of status for both of us. But I want to see if it is possible to retain his EB2 slot.
He can retain the EB2 slot if he doesn't get married to EB3. If you both guys don't use the EAD, then you're not married to EB3.
Right. So to apply your analogy, it's going to sound weird, but can I be married to EB3, but while my husband is still on?
The problem there is that if that happens, then he files an EB2, you can't be a dependent on him.
Right. Okay.
Let's say if you use the EAD, he doesn't use the EAD. He can file the adjustment of status under EB2, but you can't join him. It's a very lengthy process of joining that one for you.
Okay. So if I use EAD, it means that he's also using EAD, or?
No, it's not that he's using the EAD.
Okay.
He's free. He's free. You got married, he's free. He's still flirting with this particular EB3. He can move on.
So he will still be applying for adjustment of status, but he won't be using it right now, right?
That's right. That's right. You're right.
Okay. So is renewing EAD is also a form of using EAD?
No.
Okay.
It's not a form of using it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Shrey Gupta, you're unmuted.
Right. Thanks, Kishore. Mr. Rahul, I have a question, and maybe this is a general assumption here, but the question is that if you do the concurrent filing with the downgrade from EB2 to EB3 and the 485 filing in October, so this downgrade process may take, let's say, 4 to 6 months if you do a regular downgrade. So would you be considered under the October's visa bulletin since you're filing in October, or would you be like, this downgrade process, let's say, take 6 months, Feb or March, would they consider the Feb or March visa bulletin to
October visa bulletin?
Regardless of how many of our applications they get, like 150,000 or whatever.
That's right.
With the downgrade and EB3.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And just one other follow-up question I have is, we basically travel a lot between US and Canada because of our residency. So if we were, sorry?
You can't if you travel though, then the advance parole will become invalid.
So we have an H-1B valid until end of next year, 2021.
Yeah.
If you don't plan to use advance payroll, can we travel on H-1B?
You can travel on H-1B, you're right, but then your advance parole will get invalidated.
Even though we are not using the advance payroll?
Even though you're not, while the advance parole is pending, you're not supposed to travel. If you travel, the advance parole is automatically denied. You got it? Now, if you want to travel on H-1B, you can.
And so can we apply for EAD and not for advance payroll? Is that an option?
Yes, you can.
And then not like we can apply for advance payroll later on, like we can apply for EAD, be on EAD, but I mean, not use EAD, but use H-1B for travel back and forth.
You can do so.
In the US.
You can do so. But once you use the EAD, then you can't travel on H-1B.
Right. So we would have to apply for the advance payroll in that case.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Santosh, you're unmuted. The last question for tonight.
Yeah, thanks Rahul for hosting this, and thanks Kishore for hosting this. So Rahul, I have this question. So my priority date is August 2014. I'm on EB2, and if I downgrade to EB3 and file my 485 concurrently, and if the dates in future, if I don't use my EAD and continue using my H-1B with the current employer, and for example, if I switch jobs, move to a different employer in future, and if the current employer revokes my, withdraws my 140, how do I switch back to EB2 in future? I mean, do I have to file PERM and 140 together again, or can I use a PERM that is approved in EB3 and file 140 in the same way?
But so you're working with company A right now that has an I-140 approval under EB2s, right?
Right, that's right.
So they're downgrading it to EB3.
Right.
And if you don't get if you don't get married to this EB3, and you know what marriage is, right?
Right.
If you don't get married to EB3, you don't have to file PERM, you don't have to file an I-140. You already have a EB2 I-140.
Right. So if I switch company to employer B, and if employer A revokes my 140, I mean, it withdraws my 140, which is approved in EB2 or EB3. So do I need to?
Depends on when are you going to move to company B? 6 months or longer than that?
Or longer than that.
Yeah, then there is something called, then do you want to get married to EB3 or you don't want to get married to? When you move to company B?
No, I don't want to get married to EAD.
That's a tough question. The company B can still file something called 485J supplement. Okay.
Okay.
And then still you don't use the EAD, you will be in a good shape. You will not be married to EB3.
Okay. So in that case, I mean, is that same like interfiling from EB3 to EB2?
No, it's not interfiling with EB3 to EB2. If you want to file an EB2 though, I would recommend, you can do interfiling, you can try that. But I don't want to confuse you, but you may have to, since you're not married to EB3, you can file an entire new application. That will be much better.
Okay, so I start from the labor, or just start, use the existing labor and upgrade to 140?
No, you can't use the existing labor because the existing labor belongs to the existing company, not the future company.
Oh, okay. All right. And you said something about travel. So if I apply advanced payroll with my EB2 downgrade.
Once you use the advanced payroll, you are married to EB3.
Right. I mean, during the process of applying and approval of advanced payroll, you're saying that I cannot travel outside the country?
You can travel, it just will be denied. Not your EAD, not your adjustment of status, just the advanced payroll will be. Only advanced payroll will be denied. Everything else will be fine.
And can I apply for advanced payroll if I travel before from India? No?
I didn't get that. What do you mean?
So if I travel on H1, if I travel on H1B to India, and if I want to come back to US on advanced payroll, can I apply it from India?
It's taking 8 months for you to get it, number one. Number two, you can only apply advanced payroll when you are in the country, and you cannot leave the country while the process is going on.
Okay, all right, yep. Thanks, Rahul.
Thank you, guys.
So thanks a lot, Rahul. I know you took another 20 minutes more than the planned time. There are hundreds of questions, but I posted a group link, our immigration link, where we post about all the daily calls and also the weekly Facebook live sessions. So feel free to join that group. And also whenever there is a new change, new updates in the immigration area, we can have these type of calls.
Thank you very much, Kishore, for holding.
Thank you. Thanks, Rahul. Thanks, everyone. Have a nice evening. Wish you all the best.